The Archbishop of the Roman Catholic Church in Fiji, Dr. Peter Loy Chong, is very concerned about the issue of climate change, in a special way the care for our common home, the earth. The Archbishop have drawn his inspirations from Pope Francis' encyclical Laudato Si on care for our common home, a papal document that have drawn from a wide range of sources, even from outside the Catholic traditions, directing towards addressing the issue of climate change. In one of our conversations, His Grace mentioned that it is evident that the voice of climate change in Fiji and perhaps internationally is heard only at top level, with politicians, diplomats, and religious leaders included, while the real victims' voices are neglected and are not being heard. His real concern is on the ordinary people themselves, in this case, the real victims of climate change. The Archbishop further mentioned that there is a need to empower the victims of climate change so they become the agents of their own liberations. To make their cries heard at national level and international level, for the world have not really been disturbed by their experiences and voices. Pope Francis highlighted in his encyclical Laudato Si, generally speaking, there is a little in the way of clear awareness of problems which especially affect the excluded, and this is due partly to the fact that many professionals, opinion makers, communications media, and centers of power, being located in affluent areas, are far removed from the victims with little direct contact with their problem. For this very reason, the Archdiocese of Suva further reached out to communities even outside of its own tradition, to raise awareness on climate change, in this case, investigating developments that are taking places and have caused serious environmental damages, and as well as its social implications on relationships among the people themselves. The Archdiocese of Suva embarked on a journey through Caritas Fiji to the village of Solevu in the island of Malolo, the land-owning unit where the controversial Free Soul development is taking place. Free Soul Real Estate Fiji is a Chinese resort developer that is working on building Fiji's biggest resort on the Malolo Island. Knowing very well that there are no Catholics in Solevu, however, Caritas Fiji faced the challenge to visit the community, having the concern that we belong to one human race, all created in the image of one God, and having Mother Earth as our common home, despite the differences in our faith and cultural traditions. As we offload on the beautiful white sandy beaches of Solevu village, one can immediately feel the tensions. Firstly, the relaxed lifestyles of the people, moving in and out of the village on boats, with the children enjoying their afternoon swimming, playing among themselves, while the effect of climate change can be witnessed on the coastal line, on their seashore, which is destroying coconut trees and swallowing up grounds towards the village. During our Talanoa session, reveal other facts that the Free Soul development have not only seriously damaged the environment and their livelihood in terms of their protein food sources, but have also fragmentized kinship ties that have been created and experienced for centuries. Even though there is an absence of violence in the community, however, people are not talking to each other, unable to come together when a meeting is called, and this is a sign of negative peace that needs to be immediately addressed before it takes roots in violence, which will be very harmful for the community in the future.
Ya kwa saranga ya kona kai saya wala tabali besar cunga na ni tu cungu na korong ni ro cunga matangali ero against ka cunga na busa kwa o kitu kosta cunga kitu na ka kitu kila hartu asolia na ni tungasi na bunda le mtoto kitu kata cukina me samboko dile bisaranga kona frisul bata sa saranga ni ndo na bina kai kotomai ko saranga kina kono ndo sababi tadi kena amtar pintu fak cuy kena moni stau fak pintu fak na poswakor artu kali mikir merah bumicu kaisian ya kosarna kasar tu lenga tai cungu bera nani tu dorubu rambasi kita cumingu pada sara kumbenga sara rambasi kita cungu nakai sara patu sa cungu nakai sara rambasi kita cungu nakai tapi nak ada sakitu pa malu tekir cuy nakatu fak kon ya fak nakai kiri dan tapi kan cungu.
Visiting the site where the development is taking place, I feel sad to know that the ground I'm standing on was part of the reef that at one time used to give life to the fish and other sea creatures, but had been murdered and ripped from its very heart and now laid motionlessly, making paths for people and machine. In addition, the same ground that the dead reef laid used to be the very ground that the villagers used to fetch land crabs, mud crabs and fish for their food sources, which is now no more. The development, according to the people, have polluted their fishing grounds, destroyed mangroves and killing their reefs. Witnessing the reality of climate change in terms of sea level rise on the shorelines of Solevu, it can be predicted that the future of their children is bleak. They might have to find homes elsewhere, especially when development like such that of free soul is allowed to take place, killing reefs and mangrove swamps, which will only fast-track sea level rise on the beautiful island of Malolo.
Recent cases of apparent breaches of environment protection here in Fiji. And I want to repeat that such breaches should be met with the full force of the law. There should be no exceptions. If you break our laws, you will be punished. We will soon be rolling out an environmental hotline where Fijians can report abuses of our environment wherever they see it happening.